Hey folks, Mr. Hansen here. I want to now walk you through the process of taking your design in Adobe Illustrator and setting it up to actually cut on the laser cutter. So here I've imported all parts of my design. I'm trying to cut out this like little hydraulic arm that I've been playing around with. So here are all the profiles for the pieces that I need to cut out of. In this case, I got a piece of cardboard loaded in my laser cutter for just a test cut. And so just to recap, all my lines, if you look and highlight my lines, I've got the stroke set to something small. 0.01 works pretty well. And I've actually set the stroke color to red, which is what I use to cut things out. And so to set this up, to actually print this, you'll need to open this up on the computer hooked up to the laser printer or laser cutter. That's got the print drivers cut up. I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to print this just like I would print just like a normal file. And there's a few things here that I need to set up. The first thing I want to make sure you guys do is change that auto rotate, because remember we have our artboard set up so that it should represent what's actually loaded into the laser printer, the actual material that you're going to cut on. And so if you rotate it, it's going to go kind of crazy. The other thing that you'll need to look at, if you go down to Setup, you should see the laser cutter. It's a LaserPro GS. There should be a Preferences button. That's where you'll access all the settings for the laser cutter itself. And so there's a lot of things here that we can kind of adjust and change. There's a few things that I want to highlight. The first thing is the pen tool. And there's a bunch of different colors for different, what are called pens, but they're essentially different settings for the laser. And so the way I've got this set up is that pen number 1, you'll see the color is black. That's a relatively high-speed, low-power setting. It's good for engraving on most materials. I've got my red pen set up. It's low speed, high power, and 2 passes. That's typically what we're going to need to cut through things like thin cardboard or Luan or like MDF. And so that's why we want to set the color of the stroke for the lines in my Illustrator to specific colors. There's a bunch of other pens that you can set up to do specific things or address like specific materials. Under the Advanced tab, typically I found the easiest place to work from is the center. So if you'll set position mode to center, that will, will center the laser in the workpiece, and that'll use that as a reference to cut out the rest of the design. Don't have to worry about anything there. And these raster settings are what you might play around with in order to engrave an image, which we're not using here because I'm just going to cut something. So those are like the basic settings, and if you need specific help with those, of course, please ask. But I'm going to set those to red. So I'm going to do my cut operation. I'm going to hit print, and this is pretty easy. Just hit print. That'll send your file to the laser cutter, and then you're ready to hit start on the actual machine, and it should cut out your design. So that's all there is to actually sending your file to the laser cutter. Again, if you need help with that, please talk to me in class. I'll be happy to work with you.